Welcome back. We are back. It's been since July. I looked up, I think it was July 6th or something like that we've been gone. By popular request, we receive hundreds and hundreds of messages every day saying, why aren't you guys doing the show? So we are back. We were busy.
You were going to say by popular vote, that's why we haven't done one since July. So many people have told us to stop.
Yeah. Say, why do you do this show? But yes, we are back. And if you haven't been here before, this is basically a live show all to do with if you have window cleaning questions, feel free to put them in the comments. We're just here to talk about window cleaning in general and whatever else you want to chat about. So
I have a question for the group. Tell me yes or no, SteveO without a beard. Because I got my answer. I'll tell you all.
I love it so much now. I don't know. I don't think I'm ever going back to a beard. Well, you know what it is, though, is I'm starting to look really old, and I'm starting to get a lot of gray from here. So it just looks a little funky.
Yeah. I get the gray here, you know. When my hair's not like combed, there's like a couple little guys going, and I'm like getting gray on the sides, but I cut it off.
See, I'm losing hair here, and then I got there's a gray hair right there. Actually, you can see it on the YouTubes.
You don't even have to point it out. I can see it. See it like 4K.
No, but I just got this Phillips shaver. It's just so nice. It just makes it so easy. So easy. I cannot help it.
In the chat right now, so far, it is unanimous that nobody likes it. You're gonna have to go back to a full beard. The big winter Steve beard too, where like the hair comes down to your eyes and then your beard is big too.
Oh, so the haircut is staying this way too now. So I had this fatty mole back here on my head. And so for like 2 years, I wouldn't let the hairstylist do a fade above here. So it was making my hair look super weird. So for $500, I got this mole cut out of my head. So now I can take my fade up higher.
So if anybody is looking to buy supplies, SteveO needs to put some orders in to pay for his mole removal.
Yeah. I'm getting plastic surgery soon. I'm just going to get some filler above my eyes and my cheeks. Just a little.
I'm going
to remove my crow's feet here. Just a lot of Botox.
Hi, I'm Steve.
Yep. No one's commenting, so no one's watching this. So it's totally fine.
Yeah, it'll be
okay. My camera, it hasn't changed. It will still stay on focus just like it does now. We can't solve that issue apparently for the show. But yeah, we are back. If you have any window cleaning questions that you've been dying to get the answer to since July and you haven't talked to us since, then
here's a question for you, because this is the topic, I think, of the show still. It might have changed since we talked 2 to 3 minutes ago, but like, who's the biggest company out there? Like, that's a really kind of interesting go, because these Pinks guys are like, they're not the biggest. They're the newest, but they are phenomenally going to be huge. They're going to beat Fish. I guarantee it within the first 2 years.
Yeah, definitely.
There's so many of them opening. It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know who Pinks Windows is, Pinks Windows is a window cleaning company that started in Texas, and they have tons of stuff on YouTube now with a bunch of other YouTube channels that really talk a lot about small business.
Yeah.
And they've franchised their company, and they started it in 2020. Like, I got the pleasure to talk to these guys when they first kind of were thinking about it, and they've just created this all on their own. And so we get to work with like a lot of these different owners of the different franchises, but they're definitely becoming a huge franchise. But if you want to look up anything about them, you search YouTube for Pinks Windows and you'll see tons of stuff. But I mean, I know like Mike Nichols is on here. He's mentioned they're in his area.
They moved to my town.
Yep. They're in your town.
I saw one actually put orders in, and I was like, oh, and I saw the city and I was like, oh, yeah. They're like here in the town. So it's crazy.
Who is the other big one though that is in New Jersey? They do gutter cleaning. They do
Ned Stevens.
I bet nobody knows that. Now, Ned Stevens though is what again? It's not only window cleaning, gutter cleaning. It's like full exterior service.
I don't know. So they started as like gutter cleaning only, and then all of a sudden they started doing the other services. But they're giant too, which doesn't make sense that gutter cleaning could be a thing. I thought about even like like, oh, what I now wouldn't have time, but like in my head, I'm like, oh, I want to do something else. Like, what if I got a Sirocco vac on a truck and a gutter thing and just went around and like sucked up gutters?
Right.
Like be like a couple months, like panic. And I mean, that's
Yep.
what they ended up doing. I didn't know that there was like a big enough thing for them to be that giant, but
Right. And then there is, well, of course, there's the franchises like Squeegee Squad. There's Fish.
let's do this. I'm going to test you. How many franchise window cleaning companies can you think of? I'm gonna count them. On your marks, get set, go.
Shack Shine, Fish, Squeegee Squad, Shine. There's just a Shine
Canadian one, right?
I think it's Canadian. It might
right.
be. And then Window King. Window King.
I've never heard of that one.
Yep, Pink. So we got 6.
Window Genie.
Window Genie. Window Genie's a big one.
Men in Kilts is still technically around.
Kilts. That's a huge one. Oh, let's see who else, man. That's all I can think about. Window Hero. Window Hero is another big one. That's all I can think of. So like almost 9 or 10.
9. Yeah.
Yeah. Dang.
It's crazy.
Well, yeah. Oh, thoughts on Keith Kalfas? What a great question. Dude, Keith is super energetic. I used to watch Keith. I remember Keith's videos from back in, 2012, I would say, that he was posting. I always remember this video of him trying to clean the inside of a restaurant as fast as he possibly could. It's probably the worst window clean you'll ever see, but it's Keith. Like, I think he was literally just doing it to get people riled up. It wasn't like that was actually him. And I was one of those people that thought he was like really doing it for real. And
you use too much soap.
Yeah. But I don't know. I watched Keith for like a bit. I think of what happens with a lot of us though, in like this industry, is stuff starts to become repetitive. Like I'm even going through right now, like repeating a lot of stuff just in a different form for the times. And so if you want like a YouTube channel to keep on going, I think that's what he's doing. There's a lot of like, start your business for this amount, or if your business is dying, do this or that. I haven't watched him though in like 2 to 3 years. Do you consume much of the content on YouTube about this stuff, or do you find like you like to? I know you like to get away, like
I watch all of your stuff, but everybody else's.
I'm sure.
No, man, I see in like during my days, I see a lot. I'm like in it. I'm never out of it. But then like as soon as like 6, 7 o'clock goes, my brain wants to be out of that just for a little bit. Like my wife is probably like a lot of people's who goes to bed reading at 8:30, but the lights are off, so I don't know how she's reading. It's like 8:30, and then the kids are kind of coming back in and going to bed when they are, and it's like my quiet time to like chill for a little bit. And I really do not choose window cleaning to watch, only because I'm so in it the rest of the day. Like a lot of you guys that are out there watching or in their thing, like you guys are out in the field all day or doing whatever, and then at night you're like, I want to do some other stuff and really get into it. But because I'm reversed that way, I've never been a Kalfas fan.
Right.
Speaking on that one. But.
Yeah. I used to be very unbalanced and doing way too much of this window cleaning stuff like 24/7. And man, this year I found like a balance, and it was like the greatest. It was the greatest thing. Weird. I think that's partially why we why I really kind of stopped doing the show. It was never Josh. I kind of just like extracted myself from like evening things, and it was great to be honest.
Busy summer.
Yeah.
That was really, and the thing with a lot of this content too is like we got a bunch of people here that are watching. By the way, Paz is here. Paz is awesome doing content. He's out there all the time. His great videos, by the way. But you see, Paz, Carlos, he's made like all of these ones. You got Window Guys, of course. 2 clips water fed. I don't even want to bring that up because it should be 1 clip. But still, like those guys that are there that are watching right now are just dudes that are like genuinely always in the industry, which is awesome. The new person has to find certain seasons before they can kind of get into it, where it's just not that season for a lot of the content stuff,
Yeah. Carlos asked about Luke, the window cleaner, still going. So Luke just doesn't do content. Luke hasn't done content, I think, since 2019. He'll like come here and there and do some short videos and stuff to kind of, every year kind of dabble into it. But luckily we get to talk. We talk like a few times a year. just about stuff and have a good like 1-2 hour conversation. He's doing great. He's just enjoying his life. He's built a wonderful company for him and his wife, and Rihanna's really helped build that too. So I think they're very, very happy. I think we kind of talked about that a few times. Ambidextrous asked, what about the Oliver Lester video thoughts? So here's the thing. I'm just going to say it straight up. These guys aren't really even a part of this whole industry anymore.
They do nothing. Even when they added no value. They never gave anybody anything. They were just people who made cringe content of people watching door-to-door stuff. And then how many people thought, well, this is what they do. Nobody does that. That's not the way to, you don't sell Lamborghinis going door to door. It's ridiculous.
And I do know, talking to a lot of the young guys, a lot of them use whatever their business strategy course is. I haven't looked at it. I don't want to even comment on it because I don't know what it is. But I do know that at a certain time here in, what was that, August or so, all of a sudden they just started making videos about that window cleaning is crap and start to do LED lighting, and that's where you should put your money at. And so they started talking about how window cleaning was too seasonal, yet they just had talked about for 6 years how it was the greatest thing ever. So
it's
to me,
weird, though, when you're not building a business and you're just going door to door, how it can get burned out. And
exactly. And then also talking about in videos about spending a lot of money and riding around in a Lamborghini doing door to door for window cleaning. It just doesn't compute very well. It doesn't make sense. And a lot of the advice in those, and I think a lot of the people that are watching this and watch all of our stuff are a lot smarter than realizing that. I think I've met some young guys though that are really like pushing to do certain things in certain areas, to have certain goals with all that stuff, which I think is fine. It's just we know a lot of people that have used kind of their door-to-door tactics. It's just it's kind of dying out, and it's not being mentioned nearly as much as it used to be.
You know what though? If it got people to start business, I'm like a huge fan of just small business. Mm-hmm. Like so many people are scared to do it because they're like, oh, it's so scary. It's more secure by having this job. Like if it just helps people do that. And there was so many young people who were like 14 who, you know, the next generation always, and they're like starting businesses now. So it was super beneficial for the industry. Yeah. Even if I'm not a fan of the guys or what they were teaching, it still was good to get some, you know, cred out there.
Definitely. Paz Window Cleaning asked, what are your thoughts on commercial window cleaning when it comes to bids? What are your thoughts on big commercial window cleaning when it comes to bids? We've talked a little bit about this, Andy, as far as that goes, but I would say that, you know, big commercial quotes, I think there's so many different variables as far as how skewed that market is, and that you'll get companies that will come in and bid $1 to $2 per pane. And then there'll be the other company that will bid $6 to $7 per pane. And then there's the company that comes in who's trying to do, you know, sell a full restoration and get all the hard water, where I feel that most of these commercial clients are looking for, we want it to look good for when corporate comes, or for when this main guy comes, or like something like that. Or it's like you try to sell them on maintenance just to keep it up. And, you know, that's how I always looked at quotes. So I always try to quote on, let's just get it clean. Let's only do the extra stuff if that's what you want. But usually I left that on the customer to mention it, because commercial cleaning, I think, was always one of the easier things to do.
Yeah. I think you're kind of spot on. Like any of the big bids, like the bigger a bid is, just break it into small pieces, but don't be focused on like, people are like, oh, well, if I do this every 6 months, should I take like some money off? It's like, they don't care about the money between it as long as your bid was already there. Like tell them why they should hire you, like the value. I preach it all the time, but how many property managers, they don't like, just get it done. Are you in the ballpark? Yeah. But guess what, sir, Mr. Smith, you will never have to call me about anything. But if you do, here's my cell phone. If your place gets egged or you got customers, something, anything, I'm there. Other than that, you're not even going to see it. It's just going to look amazing all the time. Yeah, that's great. You took that off my plate, and now I'm happy.
You mentioned a good thing though, and like breaking it down into more smaller bids, in that when you get these commercial places, we used to have a lot of commercial buildings that we also went back to and did like their entry monthly. And that would be like a big job. It'd be sometimes like $500, $600, you know, job. It would only take a couple hours. So that's a great thing to sell when you start getting to those commercial properties, is maintenance, that you're there more regularly, because one of the things a lot of these commercial properties do, especially schools, they get quotes every single year. So you could lose out on that quote if you're easy to be forgotten. So I think trying to sell them on more than just, hey, we want to get in and do it once a year and then talk to you every August. What if I'm there 3 times a year? Maybe we're not doing the big job, but maybe we're just taking care of things to keep maintained. And then boom, you're the company that wants to actually take care of their building.
Yeah, remember me. I'm here all the time. Stay relevant.
Me. Ambidextrous asked, have you guys seen that video on Graham Stevens' channel making $1,000 a day window cleaning? I have not seen that video. Have you seen that video?
I did, yeah. Graham Stevens is actually, he's pretty cool. He's like a money guy, and I like money guys. They're pretty interesting. That one was just kind of like a life in the whatever. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. But I think, honestly, if that's what you're kind of getting motivated by, it's very possible in a lot of different ways in window cleaning, depending on the way that you do your marketing and the way you organize your business. You could always do $1,000 a day. You don't have to do it that specific way, and you can make it a very consistent hands-off where people are scheduling with you without going door to door.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that the other part is when you don't think that you can do that in your area, where like, I'm telling you, you can raise your prices. Like, people are like, oh, you're just trying to get rich. No, I mean, obviously, but no. Like, I have somebody that I've talked to for years and years and years, and I've always been on him for his pricing. He got a new dude who was doing like office, but like also the bids and stuff. And he came in, he's like, dude, I just doubled everything and not one person's complained. And all of a sudden they're just changed their pricing over the past like month. So you can do it. It's
you ever though, like hire a service to come to your house, let's say HVAC or just anything like that, and you see what they charge you just to come out, like it's $250 for me to come out. Window cleaners don't do that, So then you think of, okay, now I'm going to up my minimum from $149 to $199, and I'm including the window cleaning in that, the travel, everything. And then we look at these other services that will give you a $2,000 bill for being there for 30 minutes to twist a wrench a half a turn.
Yeah. And you're like, he knows what he's doing. So I don't want to touch the gas. I don't want to touch the plumbing. I don't want to touch the electrical. And then we come in and do something where people are like, I don't want to touch the windows. And all of a sudden they're like, yeah, but I can't charge. Like, you can't.
Yeah, exactly. So when you start looking at that, especially with how much everything's gone up, there should be no reason why, especially in the last like couple of years, that you should be scared at all about maybe, I don't know. What's the most drastic price increase that you could think that you would advise someone to do based upon what's happened the last like 3 years?
Yeah. So I'm guessing 100% of people that are watching they don't do yearly increases. So all of a sudden, by the time they have to increase it, they have to increase it by a lot, or else they just don't. And nobody does. So everybody makes less and less. I did. This is years and years ago. I doubled my price on house washing. And I would not necessarily say that everybody should do that, but I did that just as an experiment for 1 week. And every single person that called me booked with it. I'm like, what have I been doing this whole entire time? But I mean, think about it. Inflation's 9%. That means you need to raise your prices by 9% at least. Well, yeah, but next year. Okay, so now you're already down 9%. Now compounds another 8 or 7% inflation. Now all of a sudden you're down that much more money. You can't come back from it afterwards. It's like new guys who they want to give some super good deal and do like 20 windows for $70. And they're like, well, I'm new. And you'll never get that customer again, because even if you give them the price that everybody else is charging, they're going to say no just on precedence.
Question. See this question that came up from somebody on here. Are you guys part of the dripping window cleaning culture? What is that?
I don't know. It sounds like an infection. There's probably an ointment for that. But we are part of the window cleaning culture, though. That's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, the part of the drip, but is dripping like a new word?
Dripping window cleaning.
Is that?
I don't know.
Is that some slang?
Maybe it's like drip. Like, oh, dang, Steve, you got drip. That's like a thing. I gotta get my kids. Whoever that person is probably like much younger than us, and they're like,
if you could explain what dripping means. There's a lot of different stuff that could mean. Like when I was in college, the drip wasn't a good thing. So,
Let me say things that the boomers will understand. Are you guys radical with the... there was actually a good question from Ian Cruz, by the way. Is it important to get insured?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Should be one of the first things that you do before starting work. It's crazy to me how many people do without, and then
It's
all of a sudden,
expensive, Steve.
it's not. You get $1 million in general
You
liability insurance for like 60 to 80 bucks a month.
Yeah. You've been in business for a very long time. I've been in business for a very long time. Both of us have had things happen that we would be like, oh my gosh, like who would have thought? Like a ladder tips over on a car. Well, do you have $30,000 to buy a new car? No. Like that's where that comes into play. Like either you're bankrupt forever,
And
or
the biggest thing to share, and I think is very important with insurance for window cleaning, is insurance for window cleaning does not cover you on scratching the window.
yes.
That's like one of the biggest things that you should specify when you get general liability insurance. But I promise you that you will not be able to find any line on your whole entire policy that says it. Even if the person who's selling you the insurance says it, you say, tell me where and show me, because you won't be able to find it. Because we had that where like 2 to 3 different people said, oh yeah, you're insurance. We're like, show us it. And they're like,
you know why?
We can't find it.
Yeah, the reason is because if you as a window cleaner scratch windows, that means that you're not educated in your industry, and that should never have happened. Then it would be considered like when a doctor kills somebody, it's like malpractice or whatever, where they're like, it was one of those things, you did things not to your standards. So like that's how insurance companies make money, by getting out of their insurance claims. So
yeah. Oh yeah. Wally asked, what happened to the water-fed backpack? It's gone. It's no longer here. It
got hydro-locked a little bit, and it was a very simple fix, but it was too much people that were like, this is junk. It doesn't, just undo the hose, turn it on, plug the hose back in. So you can still get the backpack. The backpack is just like a Hudson never pump.
Yeah, or something like that. You could make one.
Connection.
Mike Nichols, I think in the chat, he made one out of something else too. I mean, it's very possible to do that with many different things. If you
we used them for forever, for 20 years, we had them.
Yeah.
Before we sold Xero ones, but
I'm not a big fan of them. Like I tried it, but I guess I don't have the work though that needs that. Yeah.
That's a problem. They're so small. They're 4 gallons. So like you do a window, you're like filling the thing 30 times. But we had a couple projects, more commercial stuff, where it was like a quick storefront that we wanted to water feed, because it was like 3 stories of glass and they're like on a road and people, and you don't want to set everything up. So a couple things that worked really well for. But
I know a guy in California. He has used it for like 8 years straight. He has a different brand of it, but I mean, that's what he primarily does. He has that thing on a dolly. He uses it everywhere. But yeah, it's not my favorite thing ever. Paz asked, what do you think of charging for bids? I've personally never done that, because now we've talked about this for a couple of years, and really honestly, your thought of just doing everything over the phone has very much grown on me. And I think really we're at the point now where everybody knows how to use a phone. Even a 80-year-old knows pretty much how to use an iPhone. Not that they're going to walk around their house. It'd be really bad if they fell. But there is so many easy ways now to do that unless you're in the area, or, it's the person across the way and, hey, you want a bid, I think that's a great way to do it. But I don't know if charging for quotes would work in our community. I think if you were to ask for like a deposit down for the job, that works. But you have some.
I'm like, I would, because if I call a place and they're like, oh, it's $99 for the quote. Okay, goodbye. I'm not going to pay you. Well, we have to show up. Yeah, that's kind of your job. Like, I feel like if I got to pay something, they could come and be like, $1 million. No, okay, I'll keep your $190 or what. Like, I just don't like it. I don't find there being a value to it. And the other thing is that every job that you do can be done over the phone. Like if you go to a job to do a bid, what are you doing? You're walking around to look at the windows so you can come up with a bid in your head. Just not be there and ask the questions, and you can do the exact same thing. And now it takes you 3 minutes and you don't have to charge for that.
Who is ambidextrous? Who is this? I feel like this is Chris. The questions this dude's asking.
Yeah.
Like for just getting into it, a lot of slang and a lot of little different things that are going on in the social media world.
Right.
Just be interested if you would share who you are. But anyways, just it was a random thought today.
By the way, real quick, I just want to say how awesome it is that I think Jose, I'm trying to find it now. Jose? No.
You saying about the reasonable percentage to increase each year?
Yeah, somebody was like, yeah, it was like I increase it 15% or something every year.
He said, yeah, 9 to 15%. What is a reasonable percentage to increase each year? 9 to 15%. Question. Each window cleaner is different. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at top chat, not live chat.
Oh, okay.
I'm missing a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, Carlos said I've been doing about 15% every year.
Nice.
It's great.
Peace Shoop. Hey, you can choose whatever rep you would like. If you want to reach out to one of us, we're happy to help you. Let's see here. Do you pay workers or do you do it all yourself? It really depends. So if you're new to the business, there's a lot of owner-operator businesses. If you're really wanting to grow, of course, you're going to want employees. So therefore, yeah, that would just be the difference between those two, really.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You're capped at time. We sell time. Is what we do. So if you're capped off at your time, you can only work 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day or whatever, and you want to do more, then you have to hire.
What coverage should you have for a one-man crew, deductible and amount of coverage? It's just the $1 million of general liability. I mean, that's something. I don't even know what my deductible was. I never even made a claim.
It's the deductible is more or less to make you not claim everything.
Yeah.
So whatever that deductible is, what can you handle? Can you handle 1,000? Can you handle 2,000? If you can, you'll pay less per month because you can handle a bigger deductible.
Honestly, if we typically broke something and it was under like 1,000, 2,000, we just paid for it out of pocket. And it happened very rarely. I mean, honestly, in my time, I maybe broke 3 windows. Customers were always cool with it. I never had to pay for one. I just told them exactly what happened. Maybe paid for some blinds here and there. But other than that, I mean, what was the most expensive thing you ever paid for?
Well, what real or what somebody told me? I had one of my guys break such an ugly like TJ Maxx perfume bottle thing that was by the bathtub, and they tried to tell me that it was this super old family heirloom thing, and there was like decal stuff when the sticker was on the bottom of it. I'm like, so I ended up doing the free window cleaning for that one, but it was like a $7. The best story I had was this lady. She was super chill. She's like, hey, I don't want to watch you clean windows, but I'm going to sit in my garden, like in the back, and sit in the sun and read while you guys are cleaning, if that's cool. I'm like, yeah. The dude that was cleaning the window, I was on the inside and he was on the outside, his back to the lady. And he goes to remove the storm piece and he goes and breaks it. And the window goes and breaks. And she just does this out of her book. She like looks over the book and she goes, well, that's why I don't clean my own windows. And then goes right back to it. We just fixed her window. She was cool with it. Like, she's like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing, what's the biggest in the chat that someone tried to say that you're responsible for, like that you had a fight? That would be a very interesting question. There was a guy on Pro a week ago or something that said he did a whole commercial building and he didn't use any razors, but there was like something in his actual sleeve and scratched every single pane. And it was bad.
I do know people who have like lost their business because of that, scratching glasses. I know one guy who had his tool fell out of his bucket on a belt. He's on a ladder, hit a hood of a car, had to buy the hood from a more expensive car. I've known weird things. I did almost get sued. It was an architect in a fancy house, and he said I scratched, and we've mentioned the story, but we cleaned 2 windows and they noticed the scratches. They stopped everything. I showed up on site. We walked through with the homeowner, like through all the windows that were still dirty, and everything was scratched. He's like, I don't care. Like, I know it was you guys. Like, well, we didn't scratch it and then make the windows dirty. So I was like, well, as soon as you start talking, because he started mentioning lawyers are. I'm like, okay, well, we're done. I'm going to leave the property now and we'll never talk again. We cleaned 2 windows and then nothing came of it because we got pictures of everything too. So it almost got expensive, but you know.
Yeah. We only had one time, I think I told the story before, where a lady tried to say that we broke her mirror, and her mirror was a floating mirror worth $900. There's no mirrors that are $900, ma'am. There's no
magic mirror on the wall, maybe the one that like tells you the future.
The lady was incredibly racist as well. Like, it was just because of the employee that was in there that they thought it was. It was ridiculous. Let's see here. What other questions do we have? There's so many questions.
Have you ever lost to the storefront to a bucket Bob? Yeah, of course.
You've lost to a bucket Bob?
Well, like, like when somebody else comes in, I have one job that I'd done for like 4 years. And she called and she goes, hey, like, just let you know, like, I have to go with somebody else. I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened? She's like, they're like cheaper. My bid was like, it was like $4 difference. And I'm like, for $4, we'll do it. Like, we'll match that. Like, I mean, if something changes, let me know. I mean, we've done you for so long. She called me back like 15 minutes later crying, like, I don't know why I would have taken that. You better. But I mean, it could happen. Could definitely happen.
I don't think I've ever had it. I've had it though, like a lot of main streets where you just lose it to like other window cleaning companies for no reason.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah. Manager knows a friend who knows a friend who cleans windows, and boom, you lose it.
Somebody came in for beer money and offered them less money, and they went with it, and they're going to hire you back because those guys aren't going to show up once they. I mean, if somebody leaves you for a couple bucks, like just because of price, then they're always going to leave you for just because of price. So.
And go back during the winter when someone does do that, because the winter time, typically that new guy is not going to show up anymore because winter is just not fun.
That's time to sell.
Yeah.
Like
and you have so much time on your hands. Like you have so much time that there's no reason why you couldn't do that at that time of year.
Like 2 or 3 days after a good snow is the best time, because you walk through and everybody's windows look absolutely donkey. Everyone, because they're like splashing and people walking and salt, and it's just everything is gross. And you're like, hey, we could make this look beautiful. And the other guys didn't show up. It's perfect time.
Paz asked another good question. I know I'm kind of jumping around here, guys. Sorry. How do you guys raise prices on clients by text, etc.? Like, hey, we are increasing your prices this year. No, literally just you just send them the invoice or you just let them know the new price. I never told anybody. I just literally, because it's like a new year. Like, how many things just go up? Like your car insurance just goes up every year. They don't tell you.
Nobody's questioned any of that stuff. It's not. I always tell people when I do the bid that, and our normal process is, if you're going to keep us long term, awesome. I hope we can earn your business. We do raise every year 2% above inflation. Everybody's like, oh yeah, and they're fine with that, because again, everything. Go buy $100 worth of groceries and see if you can eat a week.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. 100%. But yeah, I don't feel like I've ever, maybe if it was a huge client, yes, huge clients, we have let them know. So huge commercial where they're getting billed thousands of dollars a month, that's a little different because they're going to notice that. So we have let those companies know. Typically on those, we did them every 2 years and rose prices on those. So that it wasn't like every single year. But those were the only ones. Like, but residential, it was literally like, here's your price for 2023, and like and sometimes they'd be like, oh, well, you rose prices again, but that might have been less than 1% of customers who actually would say that. Never.
Most people
don't. Always the richest customers.
Dollar, yeah. I would for like commercial. Obviously, they got to like if you're doing even long term stuff where there's not a contract, you always gotta let them know because there's budgeting things and stuff. But like houses, I don't know that I've ever like wrote a message to them first. I mean, I talk about it when I close it, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Vicious Triplets. What a name. I'm still trying to figure out how to start strictly a bronze wool pad company. Well, if you do, let us know, because let us know too if you find ultra fine bronze wool. That's like the main issue.
That's what
not like the bronze wool pad. It is actually the fine, ultra fine bronze wool. I still have people that like will text me for an order. Oh, and include 10 bronze wool pads. That was done early 2022.
You can get those from other company. You can't, because they don't make them. There was one machine in the country, actually, I think in the world, that made that ultra fine class, and they did it for like woodwork burnishing. And when COVID happened, literally at like Alex and purchasing and everything else, they were just like, hey, like, what about this? And they're like, oh yeah, the machine broke. Like, we're not going to fix it. And they're like, are you getting a new machine? And like, how long is that going to be down? They're like, no, we're not going to fix it. We have machines that do in the other grades, and those are better sellers anyway. So you're going to start bronze wool. I mean, at $2 a pad, you're going to be it's going to be a while before you pay back your $250,000 investment for the machine.
Yeah, a lot of time. Malmato, I'm not sure how to pronounce your first name, but asks, what starter kit would you recommend for residential job? If you're in the chat, recommend a starter kit that you would suggest. I honestly just recommend starting with traditional tools, getting some ladders, make sure you like it, and then go from there and grow.
What
would you suggest?
Yeah, I have a kit. You have a kit. We kind of put together with like our favorite stuff, but just doing it is the doing it. Like, find out if you're going to be able to hustle and push yourself enough to do the company, and then you can worry about the gear. I mean, it's nice.
Does anybody ever buy your kit and then text you like a month later and say, "Hey man, why did you include this in your kit? That was, oh man, I almost cussed badly there, but like that was really effing stupid to add that in your kit." You ever get texts like that?
I've never.
I get texts like that every once in a while. It's super kind, and it's the first thing they say to me. They don't even say, "Hi, my name is this." They say, "Why did you include this item in your kit? That's the dumbest thing you could have ever done." It's so great. It's so great.
Sorry, you don't know why it's in there, but.
And I always say to them, you could have pieced together anything you want. Like, you don't have to follow what the kit said. Everything's itemized out. Everything's listed. But I just love it. I just love it.
You know, I do wish that we could do an episode of just customer service fails. If it didn't get us arrested or fired, we could make an entire show about just that.
It could be a year of episodes, a daily episode.
Easy. Just the stuff that's happened today.
Just
the arguments that people want to get into you, and you're like, I don't know why you asked me for my opinion, or like, hey, you've been doing this 20 years. What about this? And you tell them, like, nah, no, I don't think so. Okay. I don't know what to tell you.
It is absolutely crazy. Wallow T asks, how do you feel about storm windows? Are you doing storm windows? Because if you've done storm windows, you know that they're not fun.
You don't have to ask that question.
Yeah, I think with storm windows, a lot of the new ones, a lot of the new Pellas, even though they have a lot of little pieces, they're not too bad to do. More and more I talk to people just don't do storms anymore. It's just the really old storms. And it also depends where you live. In my area, I don't have a lot of the, I would say, colonial type of homes with the large ones that are like anchored on the top. They're just all wood and everything. We have a lot of just, from like the 1980s on, as far as those type of Pellas. And if you charge right for them, you can make good money, but
you can make good money. They still suck.
Yeah. Maybe once a quarter, just to remind yourself how bad it sucks. Just do a job.
That's pretty much it.
That's like construction cleans too. If you don't do construction cleans a lot, you just do one just to remind yourself, like, oh yeah, this is why I never do this.
This is a real live story, but I was talking with a window manufacturer years ago, like 10 years ago. And we were talking about windows, and I was trying to find a company. I do Window World. Every time you go to a customer and their windows are garbage, you tell them about Window World because it's like $189 at the time a window or whatever. And this guy's like, oh man, here's all the stuff. And we're looking through it. They were selling storm windows. And I was like, what is this? They're like, oh yeah, if you still want a storm window, they're really efficient. But I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're still selling storm windows. Don't do that. Nobody wants to buy a storm. What are you looking at?
Huh? I had to look around my camera to copy and paste something in our little side thing. Sorry.
You just got some weird googly eyes. I didn't know what was going on.
Sorry, I threw you off. You're talking about windows and storm windows. And, stop selling those storm windows, you damn manufacturers.
Stupid. Okay. Don't.
Cool.
Anybody gets new windows, they're not going to go with storm windows. So it's a dying thing. It's like louvers. If you don't live in Hawaii, you're not dealing with louvered windows. Back in the day, like louvered windows on aluminum frames, that was the thing. Like my uncle still has he got new stuff now, but his entire front porch, we'd sit out there in storms and it was all old, weird, gross feeling aluminum frames and louvered windows.
Oh, fun. Wow.
Remember those?
I have not cleaned one.
Really?
Ever. Yeah. Never.
I've
seen them like above old storefronts. Sometimes they're like that window. I'm like, yeah, it's like covered by a screen. That's fine. Yep. We're good.
Ugh, they're so bad.
Cobweb duster. Get those.
You can not ever make them look perfect because there's like the weird front and then like the frame. There's no actual seal. There's just like metal that holds the glass in. So like nothing is held out water wise. They're just terrible.
There was someone at Pro Window Cleaning at one time asked, hey, what tools make this more efficient to like do those? And I suggested the Sorbo Tricket. Yeah. And then Jay Camaro just got all on my ass because he's like, have you ever used that before? Oh, I actually haven't. Why would you suggest it? Because it's made for that.
It actually does work pretty well. They still suck because the detailing is just obnoxiously terrible, but it's fast. You whack, and do it.
You just water fed pull it right through it, right to the house. It's fine.
I like when people ask those type of questions. I just post like a GIF or picture of a brick. And that's it. How can I take care of this window?
Let's see here. P Shoop. Do you sell a cap for the end of the Xero 8-foot tripod? We do not. That's a number 2, the biggest, starting at number 3. But your number 2 section of an 8-foot tripod still has an end defender in it, so it's still protected. So shouldn't worry about it. But if you want to, you can go get like, what are the little gray stoppers that are on like old grandma walkers?
Yeah, like walker, cane, whatever they're called. Yeah.
Or take a tennis ball, cut a little X in it, put that on the bottom. You can make it last for a while.
Yeah.
Caleb Cool, how do I make my Xero Pure be more consistent? I have a booster pump 6 GPM, but it's very inconsistent with different house flow rates. How are you
changing the filters, buddy?
Yeah, change your pre-filters, and then also where are you putting that pump at? I'd be interested to see where, if you're putting that in between the water source and the system, you should be able to boost some pretty good pressure through there if the water source can keep up with it. But yeah. Thoughts on lime away spray?
Nothing works like the real stuff. Like consumer grade and professional grade is literally really different. They can't take a one restore and put that in a store like, oh, here's a vat of acid, but yet we can sell it because you're typically selling to, professionals. So
yeah, just
buy some real good stuff. Get some one restore and love life.
Yep. Just, etch those windows. I'm joking. Mr. Awesome Guy Blah. I have a hard time pricing. Any tips to simplify or find guides? I feel like Mr. Awesome. God, who are you again? I don't remember because who cares? Anyways, pricing, as all we know, it's like the hardest thing to figure out. So what I suggest doing is as you do your bids over the first 3 to 6 months, like be kind of documenting what you're doing, but make it also very basic and simplify it. Yeah. There's not a guide to it just because it can always vary by area. I've tried creating guides for people, and once I send it to them, then I receive 25 questions of, well, what does this mean? What does that mean? What is it?
Yeah.
And it's fine. It's how it is. But like, I feel like you just have to keep it simple. I know that's not the greatest answer because you're looking for a guide, but like create it off of how your customers react. I mean, price it super high, go drastic with your changes and see kind of what communication you get back and just start working it from there. And you kind of understand too, different areas. I had prices for different areas because I knew some places would just be, see clear, blocked, blocky. Where are you? Hide user on this channel, and we'll see you later. There's some people that just like to get on these comments and just say wacky things. So, and like to message us really wacky things and call our phones and say really wacky things. So if you want to be a rep, think about it twice.
Sean asked a question with the easiest answer ever. How can you tell if a window can scratch? They can't. If it's made of glass, it cannot scratch from cleaning the window or razor or any of that.
Yep, exactly.
Coatings and tints and stuff can. I do love the fact that we get into arguments daily when people are like, the new glass scratch is way easier. It's softer when they temper it. It's like tempering literally makes it harder. That's not a thing. You can still have glass fines and debris and other stuff, but it's, we get back and forth with that a lot on the glass scratching. But
yeah, there are some people in the community that actually side with the manufacturers and don't side with actual window cleaners who are window cleaners. To me, that's a very interesting stance on fabrication debris, that you would actually support the people that don't want to help us whatsoever. Just super, super odd.
You want to support the people who have this only in their literature so they can get out of warranty claims. That's why they also, when you get, how many times you get people call you and they're like, hey, I need a gentle detergent that's biodegradable. And you're like, what? And they're like, yeah, the window, I can't clean these windows because it says it. That's because as soon as you use Windex, they void their warranty. It doesn't do anything, but there's just one less thing that they have to do to fix or pay for their windows. That's the same thing with scratches.
Yeah. Caleb Cool says, this is the guy with the booster pump question. I have booster before filter attached to spigot and in keeping filters changed. My hose length is only 100 feet with 15 feet of 1/8 Xero hose to pole. I get great flow at some houses, some I'm not sure.
What size is your garden hose to the system or to the pump? That should be like 3/4 or 5/8. If you're running a pump, run 3/4. let as much water go to that as possible. If you get 100 foot with 15 of eighth, I think you're talking 5/16 hose, but if you have 100 foot of what with 15 foot of the pull hose, because it should be 3/8 there. Get yourself a little bit. And if you want more flow even yet, then go and put high flow hose in your pull.
Maybe he's running like a 5/8 or 3/4 hose after the system to that and losing the pressure through there. I don't know. Hit us up. I mean, we're happy to help you with that. Craig just got asked to go to this neighborhood that was an hour away, but I went there and quoted $1,200. She had 5 of her neighbors. Awesome. Want to quote all over 1,000. Look at that. You can go there in one day and do all those. $6,000 a day. It's crazy.
Not bad.
Congrats. That's huge.
You should start a YouTube channel telling people how they can make $6,000 a day every day. Take a picture next to the ugliest Lamborghini in history.
Yes.
The ugliest. Like how that had to be repainted. There's no way that Lamborghini themselves painted it that ugly, weird baby poop color.
I'm sure, man. Baby brown. Why not?
Can you say baby poop on this channel?
Yeah, you can say baby poop.
That thing. Sorry.
We're very clean compared to most channels, so it's good. It's good.
We don't read names anymore for a specific reason.
Yeah. Let's see here.
My first day. That was by far my favorite day. You ever seen like when somebody's like pranking somebody and they just don't get it? They're like, "What?" It was great. So
Jacob Williams still texts me about it and still sends me TikToks if someone else does it, because there's like a newscast where that happens too.
Dude, I just want to find the clip and just have it as like a meme or like a 5-second clip that I can just watch when I'm feeling blue.
Sometimes I'm not the quickest with that type of stuff. I won't be afraid to admit it.
So innocent.
My first window cleaning jobs I got $600 in 4 days. I charge pretty cheap. So is that good? $600 in 4 days. Could you let us know maybe how many hours you worked in those days to get $600?
$100 should be 6 hours of work, which you could have gotten done in 1 day. So if you're working, 2 hours a day or less than that, an hour and some minutes a day, that's probably good money.
Yeah. If $600 is what you made over 4 days, depending on, let's say you worked 8 hours a day, that would be too low. I worked like 2 hours a day. Okay. So that's not bad. You could definitely probably charge more, but it kind of depends on what you're doing, but that isn't horrible.
That's the first job.
I mean, think about it. 2 hours a day for 4 days, you make $600. I mean, what else?
That's the first job. How many jobs were you like? I mean, I did my first job I ever did. I still had when I sold my company. That was the first job I ever did. And it took me just under 3 hours the first time. And the last time was like 18 minutes.
Yeah. I did it last week. I still do a home for some family friends. And I've been doing this home for 12 years. The first time I ever did, it took me 7 hours. And now I go do it. It takes me 2.5 hours. So, and
it's easier.
Yeah. And you're just there, just chilling and just, having a ball. I didn't have water fed pool at the time, to be quite honest, as far as what I do with it now. But I mean, you look back at some of those jobs and it helps.
Steve.
Hey. Yeah. Works very well.
I figure a real window cleaner.
What do you think? There's so many great questions tonight. I'm sorry if I missed any, but you guys have just been rolling with these. What do you think that's a really good question. What do you think was your biggest breakthrough you found with increasing your efficiency, either cleaning or business growth? I'm going to say cleaning, and you're going to go into business. Sound good? So to me, with cleaning, it was creating a very, very simple system that I kept to without ever allowing myself to get out of it. And what was that? It was commercial work, mop, squeegee, detail, clear seal, move on. Residential work, it was mop, extra agitate with like a walnut pad, steel wool, maybe scrape, squeegee off, detail, done. It was that system of really not trying to overly think about it. Every single time I ever did not do that, I found myself overthinking the job. My days were always so good when I just stuck to the systems, and I had employees that stuck to the systems of cleaning. It was so easy. And it was just, if I didn't do that, then my day was not as bad, was not fun, but
there's something with efficiency in that side of it that when you can just kind of put your brain to like, we know what we're doing. We've been doing this for so long that it's just like cruising. It's fine. But as soon as you get out of that and you have to like think of every little thing, it screws you up in your whole entire day. Because now your brain you're just wearing yourself out. And I could see that. That's why like route sometimes, when you're cleaning, you're like, I just want a route day. Just give me a route day. I don't want to think about anything. I just want to have some earbuds in and just clean.
Yeah, definitely.
For the business side, I would know every person who knows me is going to know exactly what I'm saying, but it's the dentist close. If you want to like grow a business and make it absolutely amazing, it's doing the dentist close. 30 seconds real quick. The dentist close is just that when you go to the dentist, before you leave the dentist, they give you your next appointment and you're like, cool, the dentist recommends it. They're the ones. In our industry, as soon as you're done, everything's done for the day. You walk through the customer, you go, hey, everything looks great. Oh man. And when did you want your next service? Within 3 months, or did you want to wait 6 months? 6 months gets you to March 7th. That would be an afternoon appointment, or we could do the 8th and morning. Yeah. That one little thing, when done right, will absolutely. I know so many people who have tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on the books for next year, and they haven't even had to do anything. Every new customer that they get is already coming. They've already got stuff settled. So think about the long term and frequency. If you're a door knocker who stands by a really ugly Lamborghini, you're not building a company that way. You're just going to find one job, doing that job, and then going out to find another job. And this is why, like, primitive, Neanderthals and stuff, that's what they would do. Like a lion can go out there and hunt, and it has to eat everything it can, and then it just lays around because it doesn't know when its next meal is. Like, that's not business.
Yeah. Very good advice. I even saw Brian Lease talking about that the other day in pro window cleaning. And he's been doing that. He's like, dude, it's just, he was advising someone else. He says it's just such an easy thing, and it just works. It just works.
Once you're confident. The reason too, people go, oh, I don't bug them. Every 6 months is too much. Well, the dentist is what tells you what dentists recommend. Like, nobody ever questions them. Like, yeah, but that's a medical Oh yeah, because they don't make money to clean your teeth. Like, they clean it, and you go in there and like, oh, no cavities again for the 6th year in a row. But I still pay them every 6 months. So it's getting over that mental side. And once you're confident with it, especially once you start doing it, these people are like, dude, I'm like 10 for 10. I just started doing dentist close. Every one of them booked.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Craig mentioned, kind of in line with this, was after she was talking, best investment and breakthrough moment was getting a wrapped van. So many people call me and say they took a picture of my van and wanted to schedule a cleaning. I can't agree more. With all of our vehicles, we would be in traffic and literally get a phone call from the car beside us, ranging like a quote. We would get comments on just the vehicles looked good and clean and so easily. They could see the phone number and what our services were. And that was mentioned a lot. And it also helps with when you get to a house, you don't have to put out a lawn sign or anything. Like, you are the billboard, especially when you have the back of the vehicle done, the side, people drive by, whatever angles they can see it. I mean, it really works out well.
Yeah. And it's one of those things that is just one of the subliminal things that make people think you're professional. Like, I know a lot of people have magnet signs, so I always do it under my breath to kind of not really poke fun at people. But like, a magnet sign means you're temporary. Like, if you have a magnet sign, that means that at some point you don't want to be a business because you're going to like the bar or something, right? That's what my mind thinks. If you have a full wrapped vehicle, we're like, oh, dude, this dude, he steps out and he's in that uniform of like, it's like, okay, I'm cool.
Well,
I get it.
You know what it almost is? It's like that thought of like, I want everyone to know about it, but the big. And then the little is like, I just want like some people to know, but I don't really want to go like too far into it. And like, when we talk to different people about them growing their businesses, and you'll say, well, do you want to do a website? No, website's too much. It's too expensive. Why wouldn't you go for it? Like, why wouldn't you do that? If you're really going all in, why wouldn't, there's payment plans. There's ways to do all of this stuff, no matter your capital.
And it's okay if you don't, because you don't have to do any of the stuff that, you don't have to go get wrapped vehicles and pay for SEO and get the fanciest website. You don't have to do that. But if you want to be like some of these other guys, then you have to. And that's the downside too, is I don't know that you hear this a lot, but people are like, oh man, so-and-so, they just went from nothing. All of a sudden they're huge. They must have like daddy's money, or I don't know what they're doing, man. They're probably laundry. It's like, they just did it right. Yeah. They're probably not focused on you like you're focused on them.
Right. Exactly. No website for spite. Michael Nichols. Oh man, you know what though? Your company just does amazing.
Mike's like a special case. He's special in a lot of ways.
Oh, this is true. Yep. Loves cheesecake. So do I.
Oh, so good.
Was that the last dessert you've had?
Yes, that was. If you would call my weird keto cheesecake dessert, then probably.
Man,
I just started carnivore instead of being like keto. It's only beef, salt, and water.
So you're having diarrhea.
Not yet, but it's coming. It's gonna happen soon. I know it.
I always remember on Joe Rogan, I think he was talking about a carnivore diet, and he's like, get ready. Like, get ready. It is not good.
I've done it before. So the thing with meat is like when you have a good steak out of random, it's like savory and buttery, and you're like, but to eat that all the time is like kind of a chore. And then that kicks in, and you're like, I'm like almost out of breath. Like with eating keto in general, like you don't have diarrhea ever. I haven't had it in years. Then going on to carnivore, your body's like, yeah, too much meat. So
the meats, you get the meat sweats,
not,
or you get real sleepy.
That's the only thing you have, but
oh man, yeah. So is it any type of meat you're good with? Pork, just anything you like eat a pound. It's all red.
Red meat, yes. Red meat. Well, no, let me rephrase that. That's preferred as red meat, but it will be red meat, sausage, which is pork, and
sausage.
Not really chicken. It's not fatty enough, so mainly red meat.
No fish.
You could, but it's again not fatty enough, really. So you want to have lots of fat.
You got to have the energy from the fat. I see. All right. Well, if you guys are looking to figure out how to eat carnivore, Josh is selling his meal plan for $99 a day.
The next time we talk, not even just in the show, but the next time you and I talk, like by tomorrow morning, I probably will be done. So I'm trying to do 30 days, and it's been the longest first day ever. So.
Oh, okay. So this is brand new. This is brand
I've done it before, but this is like the newest of this time.
You just been slamming meat down your.
Just liver and testicles, baby. But Mike Nichols just said.
Liver and testicles. Yes. Now our channel's gonna get shut down. 50K. It's fine.
If the Liver King can do it, you can too.
Okay, so we're at like an hour, but you want to do like a couple more questions and then wrap it up?
I want to do whatever you want to do.
Okay, well, we're done. See.
All right, good night.
P Shoop. Why can't we get a rinse bar that has the ability to have a sheet of water for rinsing? Oh, like just a complete bathtub thing.
Rinse bars
take
do
so much water.
Because when the water hits the glass, it winds up and you're making a rinse.
He's talking about
rinse on the glass.
He's talking about like a bar of water, like just straight up engulfing the glass.
Yeah. You would have to have like a full-on garden / fire hose for that.
Yeah, you might be able to do it with the DI tank. Like it's not a bad idea, but it's not a bad idea at all. But it would just take a lot of volume of water.
You'd also waste water by doing that. Like
it is a lot of water. It is a lot of water.
It's like people who run multiple rinse bars. There's no benefit to that at all. You're not rinsing better because the water sheets, it comes down anyway, right? I mean, if you have 2 rinse bars and you bring your brush down, well, the part that this hit is now getting hit with this. So there's no benefit to that. You're just using twice the water.
Alex D. How much would you charge for an exterior cleaning on 40 pane house, 2-story in Colorado? 40 pane house, 2-story in Colorado, you'd probably be at 40 times 5. So you'd be like around $200. I mean,
you're doing 5 a pane?
I'm just doing 5 a pane. Outside only. Simple, easy. That would take like an hour.
Yeah.
Be easy peasy. They have screens, charge for screens. What would you do in Colorado?
$750 outside only, 10
really?
inside out.
Okay. Good stuff. Yeah, I guess you could think about it like at 6. I don't know. I just moved it to 5. I found that worked here.
Yeah.
Like
people don't know the breakdown, so like the end number is what it really comes down to. I always think like to do ins and outs, like if you add the ins to a job, it really adds like half the time to the job because the outs are always going to be dirtier. They're always going to be more of a pain in the butt. They're always that. So it's like charge more for that than just doing half.
Normally, companies don't charge by pane of glass. They charge by the full window. They do charge by pane.
Nobody does that.
No, nobody does full window.
Windows. There's Windows a word that means anything. It could
window
be a
is
window, it could be a casement window, it could be a transom window, it could be a bench window, it could be a storm window. Like nobody charges by the window. They charge by the pane.
Because you ask a customer, how many windows do you have? They'll say 10. They'll say, how many panes? 50. Oh, wow, that changed.
Right.
Yeah.
What happens if you got full Frenchies?
If they charge by a pane of glass, they're ripping you off. Well, Sir Troy Smith, I'm going to guess your name isn't Troy Smith.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess your name is Jay Camaro. And you're blocked. Sorry, y'all. I really don't care for the bullshitters that come in here. So
he said he does 7,500 homes a year, is what he said.
yeah,
So I'm pretty
yeah,
sure
it all showed signs of Jay Camaro. Jay Camaro I was actually very nice to at the convention. I gave Jay Camaro a hug because he looked like he didn't like me. I said, Jay, just give me a hug and love.
That's because keyboard cowboys are only that way.
Yeah.
When you get cussed out, the hardcorest ever, you'll meet that person and they'll be like 5'4", and they'll be just the most timid little thing.
Sorry to anybody that's 5'4" in the chat.
Yeah, but if you're 5'4", you're not yelling at me online for no reason either.
I know a guy in jiu-jitsu. He is a 5'4" and he whoops my ass.
I was just gonna say that's not fair.
Yeah.
When you start the conversation with "I knew somebody in jiu-jitsu."
Oh my gosh! Before we go, is Jello here? Jello from Pro Window Clean is my favorite troll of all time. He's my favorite.
I have never in my life of doing this as long as it is not been 100% sure of anything. I don't know if he's a troll that is the most phenomenally good troll, or he just doesn't really get it. But he has to be. He has to also love it, but also be a troll. It breaks my brain. Like everybody else who's a troll, you're like, oh, you're just being a troll.
Yeah, I just, he makes me so happy every day. I mean, he really does. He gets everyone so riled up by just and
that's why I think he's a troll though, because the stuff he says on purpose is to get people riled up.
I don't know, man. All of a sudden, he's gonna be he's gonna have the next Pinks company out there. So be careful, everybody, because it all comes full circle. Jello Glass is the biggest window cleaning company in the world.
Right. I don't want to say this because I don't want to ruin this person, but there is a named person who was one of the biggest trolls we ever had in Pro for years. And I know him personally, and he is just like the most genuinely normal, you could just hang out with guy. And then you see his online stuff and you're like, oh, this is like a thing. And he's like, yeah, I just like fire people up. You know, he's like normal speaking, everything. And you're like, you are not at all who I thought. And yeah, it's what they love.
Well, it's like, I know some people who just create fake accounts and they'll just go on and troll like anything and everything. And it's just, that's what they like to do and get people riled up and, you know, whatever.
Hint, hint, Steve. When you start seeing some random things, doesn't Jello look a little bit like Steve?
Yeah, Jello. Eddie Stewart, he loves Jello.
He's genuinely nice too.
Yeah, great guy. Anyways, thank you all for watching. This has been great to come back. We are coming back for sure, as far as every other week, every other Monday, and so
we'll see.
We really
we don't want to push it. We don't want to.
What, like 2 weeks from now is Thanksgiving and it doesn't work out or something like that. That's how it always happens. We come back and then like 2 weeks from now is one of us is gone.
I know,
one of us has a holiday, something like that. But
actually,
hey,
I'm gonna be in Vegas in 2 weeks.
Do you really?
I got 2 conferences.
Oh,
They're not conferences we're doing, but I have to go to ISSA, which is in Vegas, and I have to go to ISCA.
That'd be fun. That'll be a lot of fun.
I'm gonna be in Vegas for a whole week, man.
Oh wow! And so this
shows
is
right after each other. There's like 3 days in between, 4 days.
So this is 2 weeks from now.
I have to check the dates. It might be actually 3 weeks now that I'm thinking about it because it's not November yet.
Okay, cool.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll definitely figure it out. We will be on here. We really appreciate all the people that reach out, especially in this time that we weren't doing it. That's very nice of you to reach out and say you guys missed the show, and we get a lot of it. And we started this show in 2022, January of 2022. And I definitely say for the both of us, I think we get a lot of just positive feedback on it. If you guys ever have something maybe you want us to talk about more on the show. Maybe.
We're always looking for ideas. It's really hard to think about window cleaning when you think about window cleaning all day.
You all pretty much make the show like possible, as corny as that may sound. You guys really, really do. So it's very much appreciated. So anyways, do you have anything that you want to share that you haven't shared in a while?
I do. I want to let you all know that Steve is a rep for windowcleaner.com. So if you need any supplies, give him a call. He wants to be your rep. We have a ton of great reps. Let us know. We really do want to help you. Literally, it's what we do, and we are the greatest place in the world for window cleaning supplies. And, of course, I don't have one here because we redid it and I cleaned this room. The magazine. Yes, American Window Cleaner Magazine. Go check it out, awcmag.com. New magazine. It's phenomenally good.
There's Damien.
Isn't it, like, really good, though? Like, the new layout guy is just phenomenal.
It's very good. Very, very nice.
Anyway,
AI.
There's actually less AI now. There was a little stint there, but like
got a little excited.
People, if they don't send in pictures, he's like, I'll just make a picture of this and then do it. So,
General
but
AI.
go check that out. And thank you guys, like he said, for just watching and doing all that. And everything that we do is to kind of help you guys. So I'm glad you guys dig it.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for the feedback, and we'll see y'all in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.